Hello, and welcome to another edition of Spoken Voices. Again, like always, we hope that everybody is doing fine and okay during this pandemic that doesn't seem to want to end. We hope everyone is taking all the precautions that they need to take and that their families and loved ones and friends and everybody is doing fine. That's another show, and we're still in the same predicament that we was the last show. But we hope everybody, again, is doing fine. Quick note of some shows that we have filmed already that's coming up. We're doing something at the Palace Theater in Waterbury. And we talked to the CEO and one of the managers there, and we just wanted to know how they were doing with the theater. And because I know everybody, it's basically dying to get back out and go to the movies and to live theater and stuff like that. So we wanted to give them an opportunity to let us know what's going on in their industry. So that's coming up at a later date. But today, just wanted to talk about common sense, which ain't common anymore. And yes, it does pertain to the virus and such. I'm sure everyone knows that it's gotten to the point now where our president has contracted the virus. And when I first heard it, of course, you're always concerned, unless you have no heart at all for humanity, that you're shocked to hear it. You are taken back by it because this is the leader of the free world, our president of the United States. But what it also did was make me take a step back and think about everything that's been said since this thing has begun. A lot of people were saying, our president included, that it almost downplaying the severity of this virus. People making fun of people wearing masks, and if you wore a mask, you were adhering to someone telling you what to do, and so many videos that went viral about people going into stores and telling them that they have rights under the Constitution to say that, I don't have to wear a mask because it's against my constitutional rights. You can't tell me what to do. And it never seemed to be a priority for the administration to tell people that, again, simply, if you wear a mask, you're basically not for yourself, but for the person that's standing in front of you. And again, if that person in front of you is wearing a mask, they're doing it for you, which breaks down to saying that you care about someone else's well-being. But again, it was played upon. It was almost as though they were almost laughing at someone who would have the audacity to listen to someone, the scientists, the doctors, to put on a mask to protect your fellow, American. So now the president has it. And it seems like even now it's being downplayed by his administration. Now, this is not a political show. This show is always about us as a community, as a country. So my question is common sense. Common sense will tell us when someone says something that you know that is inherently not right, or to the lowest common denominator, stupid. So if someone tells you, if a scientist tells you, if you don't do this, you're going to get sick. And not only with this thing, not only will you get sick, there's a good possibility that you can die. Or if you don't, you can actually pass it on to somebody else that has a lower immune system, and they could die. So you can basically give somebody something that can take their life. To this day, since this thing started, I never could understand how that couldn't resonate with anybody with common sense. Who has common sense? To say, I don't want to give something to somebody that will get them sick or kill them. Now, at this point, months after the fact, I'm beginning to get a little heated about it. You know, after everything that has transpired prior to this, now one of the main people who was really ridiculing people about wearing a mask has the disease. And again, he's still downplaying it. He's riding in a car with two men who has dedicated their careers to protect him. He is putting them at risk by coming out of the hospital and riding with them in a closed car with two Secret Service officers with him in it. He's putting them at risk. They can't, unless they want to lose their job, they can't look at him and go, I'm not going to do it. Because if they tell them that they're not going to protect the President of the United States, then they no longer have a very prestigious, one of the most bravest job. You have to be one of the bravest people in the world to take this job in the first place, because you're dedicated to saying, I will basically take a bullet. I will basically lose my life to save the President of the United States. That being known by the President of the United States, my thing is, why on earth would you ever ask them to put their lives in danger because you want photos taken of you to let people know how big and strong you are, even if you have this virus, to tell people, look at me, I'm stronger than the average guy. I'm going to come out the hospital, ride around in a car, and wave at you and say, I'm stronger than the average person. Look at me. As opposed to saying, I will not put these people's lives in danger. But that seems par for the course. And again, I'm not talking politically. I'm talking about common sense. I'm talking about someone being able to look at something and say, this is totally and utterly wrong. If someone tells you the sky is yellow, and they say it with the most conviction that you've ever heard in your life, and you look up in the sky and 1,000 other people tell you the sky is blue, he's not telling you the truth. At what point do you look at yourself and go, if I believe him, there's something wrong with me? We have to be able to look at things and say what is right, what is wrong, what is truth, and what's a lie. I've seen people fall over themselves to tell other people that someone's not lying. No, it's not a lie. No, that's what do they call it now? An alternate reality. If you live in an alternate reality, right, I'm going to have to say that you're probably insane, because there's reality and then there's insanity, because it's not that hard. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why a lot of people now choose to live in an alternate reality. It's known that if we had done what we were supposed to do as part of prevention, wearing a mask, social distancing, not being around a group of people that were not wearing masks, because we knew from the beginning there were people that were asymptomatic that would basically not show any symptoms of the disease that could pass it on to other people. If you know that and you start seeing the numbers go up with the virus, and you believe either you're watching TV, on internet, listening to the radio, reading certain things, and someone's telling you that no, it's all a hoax. It's all a hoax. It is no such thing. No such thing is happening. But you realize that someone that you know is getting sick, or someone that you know that knows someone who's been sick or has passed away from it, and you still believe that this is a hoax, that this is some kind of a game that someone's playing for whatever ends, then I'm lost myself. When you know that people are dying from this thing and you still don't believe it, and you still feel like you think that this is a joke, then I don't know what to tell anyone, because this is real. It's a real disease. It's killing people. It's making people sick. It's making young people sick. So at some point, we need to take a step back and look at that and say, well, we need to start taking precautions. Because if we had done it in the beginning, I believe that we wouldn't have as many deaths as we have. Other countries have done certain protocols, and their death rate is a lot lower than ours. We're not even the top population in the world, but we have one of the highest death rates from this disease. Now, I had talked before about coming together, and there were certain times in our history that we came together as one country, and we started doing things together to make things better. We need to start doing it with this disease, with this virus. But it seems that we're always fighting one another over something that is self-evident. And when you place a person above yourself and above your country, and you love somebody so much as a politician, or even as somebody who is in any kind of religion thing, if you believe that person is above everything else, that no longer becomes a political thing or a religious thing. It becomes a cult. No one should follow anyone blindly unless that person is able to walk upon water. Because at the end of the day, man is just that. Man, he is flesh and blood. He has things that make him do things that's not good all the time. We have fallacies that we have as human beings. So anyone who follows any man or woman and thinks that they are omnipotent and they're above another human being, therein lies the problem. We have to be able to make common sense rule out all the time. Common sense. Things that we know are right. Something as simplistic as, again, if a stove is on and I put my hand on the stove, I'm going to get burnt. If someone comes and tells me, now that I'm standing here, if you put your hand on that stove,